So, one thing I've been thinking about a lot recently is impatience. And impatience is a bit of a tricky beast because it sneaks up on us. It's not something that you can avoid really easily. At least for me it's not. And it's not something that you can determine is going to happen ahead of time. It's one of those things that you really don't know until it happens. In hindsight, you realize you're being impatient. Um, for all of us, it looks different. It might look like you're getting angry. It might look like getting depressed. It might look like a lot of different things. But no matter what it looks like for you, impatience is the death of a guy. Anytime you're impatient, it sort of kills inside of you what you're supposed to have for God. It kills your trust, it kills your witness and your testimony, and it kills your ability to think. And I know all of this from personal experience. This is not something that I'm speaking about without having plenty of experience in. And as I keep going through life, as I keep evolving and maturing, I keep realizing more and more just how impatient of a person I am and how impatient of a person I've always been. And that's a good thing for me to be learning now when I'm young, I'm not married yet, and I have plenty of life ahead of me. But for you, if you're impatient and you're struggling and you're feeling it, then that's okay. It's okay. My dog has more true toys than she knows what to do with. It kills your testimony. It kills the things inside of you that define what a solid, mature man is. I think as men, we need to have a level of just calm, just straight calm, where we are the master of our emotions. We're not letting our emotions control us. We're also not stifling them, but we are the master of them. We don't let them determine the actions we take. That's challenging for me sometimes as an emotional guy. And not just an emotional guy, but like I'm learning more and more just like, emotions. And I have a diagnosis of ADHD. And that's something I've learned in particular has been an incredible thing to learn is that sometimes it's out of your control in that way, but knowing about it and learning about it puts it back into your control. So I should say, there are some times that these kinds of things will be out of your control, but you need to learn what to do to put them back into your control because it's our job to keep things under control. And that's not always possible. But there's one thing we can do, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the circumstance is, to keep things controlled. And that is to rely on God, to rely on Christ. Because if you don't, then what's happening is you're saying to the other people around you, look, I'm trying to do this myself. I'm trying to be my own man without God. I'm trying to be the one. When in reality, you're not the one. You're not the man. Jesus is the man. And we are men, but we are not the guy who's going to take care of everything because we can't. That's outside of our control. We can't take everything on for our family. We can't take everything on, even for ourselves sometimes. And you have to surrender it back to God. This has been hard for me. This has been really hard for me because I'm the kind of person who really, really, really wants to have control over what it is I'm doing, my circumstances, my situations, my finances, my family life, my relationships, and that's not always the case. But one thing that has really helped me to reframe my mindset, two things that have helped me to reframe my mindset have been, the first one, give it to God, rely on God. I've been reading the Psalms, one Psalm a morning each day recently, and I decided a while ago I was going to take them at face value. No matter what the Psalm said, I was going to choose. I wasn't even going to choose. The first thing, the thing that stands out to me the most in that psalm is just what I'm going to meditate on that day. Anytime it comes to mind and I think of it. And the thing is, that's so simple that it sticks with me throughout the days. And so now I think I'm on I'm in the 20s, upper 20s. I haven't hit it every day. That's okay. But I come back to it every time that I remember and I make it an intentional part of my morning. And some mornings you just, it's busy. You don't have a minute or you need the sleep, or even more. I sort of live in a bit of a fight or flight state sometimes, a little too much, and that's half just the nature of my life and the life that I have, especially in these life is like that, and half of it is just me. My brain is so tired by the end of the day. I just feel blitzed. So I have to give all of those things to God. The second thing is that everything that you're doing, everything that happens to you, is an opportunity for you to learn about you. Not about other people, not about how you can manage them or fix them or change your situation. Just simply about how you can fix and change and manage yourself. And when you look at it like that, life gets a lot simpler. It gets a lot easier. Because now suddenly I don't have to worry about fixing or changing someone else's perspective. I just have to do it for me. And that's a lot easier because I can control and change my perspective. It's not always easy. Sometimes you need things like counseling or therapy to do that, and that's okay too. Sometimes it's just a matter of accepting things you don't want to accept. That's also part of life. So impatience can be quite the beast. Usually we're being impatient because there's something going. Let me back up. We are impatient because of something that's happening that we're trying to control. If we're trying to control it and we're not giving it to God, of course we're going to be impatient because we can't stop thinking about it. We can't stop worrying about it because now it's in our control. We're the one that has to fix it. But God says, no, that's not how this works. My grace is sufficient for you today. Let tomorrow worry about itself. You got today. That's all you have to do. All you have to worry about. And so to that, I would say, yeah, think about those things. Contemplate those things in your mind. Let your machine, the machine of your mind, work through and mull through the things that are important for today. Not tomorrow, and yesterday is already gone, so there's no point in thinking about that. You can reflect on what happened yesterday, change your behavior today in the hopes of creating a better tomorrow. But that's in God's hands. The only thing you can change for tomorrow in the better way is yourself. And when you change yourself, that is when circumstances start to change. That's when relationships start to change. It's not about the things around you. It's not about figuring out something going wrong at work. It's about figuring out your approach to what is going on at work. Just an example. It's not about what's happening inside of you that's causing you to fail, or it's not about what's happening that is causing you to fail in relationships. It's about why you keep falling into those situations. What in you causes you to fall into the situations that end up keep failing those relationships. Do you see what I'm saying? It's about you on the inside. And when you start to change yourself, that is when your circumstances change. And they will change one way or another, whether for good or for bad. They're going to change. But you get to have I think modicum is the right word, a modicum of control. You get to have a little bit of control just over yourself. But what you change in yourself will change how you approach tomorrow, how you act tomorrow, how you think tomorrow. What you think about determines how you think, what you decide, the things and resolutions that you come up with in your brain. Those turn into actions, and actions turn into cause and effect in other people, in situations, all of that. And so if you can control your impatience by recalibrating your mind, renewing your mind, like Paul says, to think about the things of God, like Paul says elsewhere, think about what is true, what is pure, noble, lovely, right, admirable, excellent, and praiseworthy in Philippians 4:12. Those are the things you need to think about. In First Timothy 4:12. That's First Philippians says that. First Timothy 4:12 says, you're young. Let your conduct set a standard in faith and love and in purity for the other believers, older or younger than you, the same age as you. Our impatience as young men comes from not relying on God. We think we are, but we're not. So this is your call to rely on God. For you, man, this is your call to rely on God. You are my brother in Christ. I we're all going to be in heaven someday. And I can't wait to hear the stories of all of the men there about how God changed their lives and what God did in their lives. That's one of the beautiful things we'll get to spend time doing with all the believers, all of heaven, all of time, all throughout all of the world. Do you know how long it's going to take to hear every single person's story? How incredible is that going to be? And that's the end goal. When we start thinking about that, for me at least, now I can take a breath and I can release it and relax because my mind is recentered on what really matters, which is heaven, eternity, inside of God and in Christ, without flaw, without worry, because He's taking care of it. The sunlight that's coming on my face right now, it's going to come from Him. He's going to be the one that creates the sun and everything about our lives. He already is. It's a beautiful spring day. There are flowers blooming. It's sunny. The sun is shining after a rainstorm all day. It's amazing. What a beautiful day the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. So that's overthinking. And it's challenging to overthink. It's challenging when you're in a position of constantly overthinking because, we have challenging situations in our lives that really, really do impact us. And I can say that about myself. And so I know that some of you guys, I've met you guys, have the same things happening in your life. So my encouragement to you is to keep going. Think about what happened yesterday, earlier today, anything before this present moment. Think about it now for the rest of today. And then see how can you change inside of yourself to trust God more and to learn how to change your responses and how to change yourself, how to conduct yourself, how you and what you believe about yourself and other people and in general, that then can help to shape the outcomes that you have in the future. And I think that's how impatience is solved. Alex Ramosi says, patience isn't just sitting around waiting for something to happen. Patience is what you do in the meantime while you're waiting to arrive at a destination, while you're waiting for something else to happen, a goal you want to get to. You have to be patient if you want to reach your goals. That doesn't mean you sit around on your butt all day being like, oh, this is such a problem. I'm going to overthink this and overthink this and overthink this. No, it means you say, what do I need to do now to continue on this goal? That is patience. And I think that's a very good, healthy view of patience, too. Hey, girl. Hey. Hi. Look. Here. Oh, here's my dog. I don't know if you can see her or not. She's kind of all over, but patience is relying on God. And then it's saying, what do I need to do next, God? It's as simple as that. So that's how you can summarize that. The answer to impatience is seeking God, seeking His wisdom. He says, whatever you ask for, you shall receive. He's talking about wisdom. Whatever wisdom and knowledge you ask for from me, you shall receive. I will give it to you. So ask Him, seek Him. That's the first thing. Go read the Psalms like I've been doing. Go read the other parts of the Bible. Pray. And then ask Him how you can change your behavior, how you can change yourself to match the situation accordingly. And I think you're going to go farther in life if you do those two things than a lot of people. Because there's a lot of people that don't do that. And that's a shame. But we get to be the light for them. And if you do those two things, I think, and I'm speaking from experience here, real experience, if you do those two things, you will succeed. Because you're asking for God's will. You're not asking for God to give you something you want. You're asking for His will. And when we align our will with God's, David says that all the time in the Psalms, Lord, I want your will. I want to know your rules. I want to know you. I want to understand you. He says, it is a blessing for a young man it is a blessing for anybody to know the law of the Lord. Because that's why. It changes what we do. It changes who we are. So, again, it always comes back to the choice, man. It always comes back to the choice. Because the choice is the heart of the matter. The choice is God. We make the choice to seek God. And that is what determines how we live our life. That determines the meaning of our life, the meaning and the reason behind our existence. Everything is answered by God. And when you make the choice to seek his face, to seek his knowledge and his wisdom, and to change yourself accordingly, that is when I think it gives our brain something to do other than sitting around and overthinking. And that is the cure to impatience. God is the choice, man. Make the choice to choose God, and I think you will go far. All right, that's it for me. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. All right, bye.